So I named this seminar Zero to Hero because everybody starts with 0 followers. It's completely okay to grow your business account naturally and organically. And I'm a firm believer that you don't have to throw in thousands of dollars in paid ads. You just need to have a little bit of passion when it comes to social media, and more so with what you do. Whatever you do, if you have passion and show up for yourself, you will grow on Instagram and connect with your followers. It's kind of like digital networking. That's really what I do best, connecting with people, even if it's over a screen. So also, if you have your phones out, feel free to scan the QR code that you'll see. You'll get a bunch of freebies, and I'll explain what they are at the end of the seminar, but it's okay to have your phone out. As Jay mentioned, my name is Brittany Winfield. I'm the owner and founder of the Winfield Creative, which I just hit my 1 year in business, but I've been doing this for a very long time. I consider myself a social media mentor, and I am a self-described overachieving millennial who just happens to be addicted to Instagram and social media and decided to monetize that and get a few very expensive degrees to back that up. So, yay! So, number 1 strategy is pick 3 to 4 colors out of your brand's logo to really establish your brand online. Reason why I say this is you want consistency. If you have too many posts that are just kind of random with randomized colors, thinking about the psychology of shoppers and behaviors and color psychology, you want to make sure that people are associating the colors that they see on your posts, on your grid, on your account with your logo, with your brand. So one of the things that I suggest for folks is to make a color palette. Pick 3 to 4 colors out of your logo. This is one I actually just did for an accountant out of San Jose who have found me through an Instagram reel. Created a mood board for her to kind of give her a visualization of, hey, these are the colors that I think would speak to your small business accounting clients that you're trying to achieve. I asked her, how do you feel about the color green? People's Trust Company, we're in a financial services building. People usually associate money with the color green. She hates the color green. So I was like, how about gold? That kind of feels a little bit better, little, gold coins, So she said, yes, I love that. It's showing up a little bit orange on here, but I swear it's gold on my screen. So we ran with that. So knowing that gold was the color that would be associated with money and her services, I said, okay, what are we going to use for your accent color? What's going to be that pop that's really going to give you the target demographic of working with women-owned business owners? She said, well, my favorite color is turquoise. Great, we can work with that. That tends to be a color associated with, I don't want to say softness, but it's a little bit of a more feminine color. So taking these 2 colors, I said, how do we feel about the color plum? It's a contrasting color to the 2 colors that are way too bright. If we had one more bright color, it just wouldn't work. She needed something that was kind of on a spectrum of the color psychology. We landed on this, and then I put together some social media posts that would kind of give her an idea of how to play with these colors using black and white as her secondary colors for the fonts, and she has been killing it on Instagram. So that's my number 1 suggestion. Number 1 strategy is picking out a color palette that really associates with your business and the services that you're trying to sell and your target demographic that you are trying to bring in. Number 2, understanding the 4 content pillars and how they work concurrently. So there are 4 content pillars. Can anybody name one of them? And the BNI people who saw my feature, I'm looking at you in particular. Anybody? Cora?
I wish I could save you.
No, it's okay. So the 4 content pillars are to entertain, to inform, to inspire, and to convince. With convincing being the most, the one you're really trying to achieve with the other 3, because convincing them will be the last part of the marketing funnel and will make them take that action. So to entertain, this is what we think of. Typically people think of TikTok dances, but it doesn't have to be this. This is really showcasing your personality if you are a sole proprietor, or your company's culture through entertainment. So sharing your story and what's happening on the inside, showing them that yes, we are working hard, but we can also have fun with what we do, and that makes you more approachable. They want to be able to share that experience with your company. To inform, to educate people. How do they use your products? How will your services help their lives? How can you educate them in a way that makes you the expert? Because you are. Whatever you're doing, we all have different jobs in this room. How can you pick up what makes you special, and how can you convey that to the customer? Because that, you probably paid a lot of money and got a lot of experience with the knowledge that you have. Why not showcase that? To inspire. What makes you passionate about what you do? Why did you start your business? Why do you do what you do? Picking apart that passion and being able to convey that emotion in a storytelling way will be able to create a personal relationship even over the screen. For me, I like to share travel stories. That's just something that I do because that is often how I find inspiration. So then I'm able to connect with people who also share a passion for traveling, who also may not have thought, hey, let's take more video, more photos when I go to family events or whatever it may be that they're doing in their own lives. It's inspiring them to take an action or to connect with you or to follow you. And then combining all these is to convince. So convincing is what we see as the evidence. How do you take your 10 plus years experience and not just quantifiably say that, but qualitatively say it as well? I have 10 years experience. These are the reviews that I've gotten. These are the testimonials that I've gotten. I've been able to achieve X amount of dollars for this client. How do you prove to them that you are the person they need in their lives while still making them the hero? I am just the guide to help you make more money. Which leads me to number 3. So when it comes to Instagram, the top layer is your most important piece. It's your photo. It's your username. It is your name that you have in that bold section there. It is the 150 characters that you are using as your prime real estate to convince them to follow you and to give them the information they need to say, oh, this is an account that will bring me value in exchange for the follow. So using that wisely and maximizing the space that you are given. And I have an example right here. So this is my Instagram bio for my business. And as you can see, I have my username, which is the company name. Often people, if you are like a life coach or somebody who's an individual, sometimes they'll say, I'm Samantha Jones, life coach, or something, VT. Remember that all of these characters here, it's not just Instagram that you're looking to gain followers from. It's the internet in general. Because your Instagram account is a public URL, this all gets indexed in Google. So you want to make sure that all of your keywords are clear, concise, so that way when somebody goes to the search bar in either Google or Instagram and they look up Social Media Mentor Vermont, you're the first one that they pull up. So all of these words right here, I do not recommend to anybody putting full sentences in there unless it's your mission statement that clearly defines what your business does. As you can see, I maximize the use of emojis. Emojis are the new picture. They're worth 1,000 words, if not more. They give you a pop of color. They provide a little bit more of a personalization and customization to what you do. And it may not be for everybody. I totally understand that. But readability, people do better when it comes to short sentences or short words that are clear and concise. People are not into reading paragraphs anymore, especially when they're just looking to unwind at the end of the day on Instagram. So branded username with the company or a keyword that describes your location, a personal headshot or logo icon. If you are a business that has a logo that is horizontal, is there an icon, a symbol that could just be your icon, not your full words? People will not be able to read the whole thing. That's why it's important to have that as your username. As you see right down here, founded by Brittany Winfield with a little sparkle, this allows you 60 characters. So you don't just have to put your name. You don't just have to say Brittany Winfield. You could say, if you and another person run the company, you can list both names. You could do a dash or an emoji that says VT Realtor, Vermont Realtor. Kind of describe what you do so that way you are maximizing all 60 characters right there in that name. Clear industry category. So Instagram, if you have a business or creator account, it will ask you to categorize your business, making sure that you pick the correct thing so that way when people are looking up hotels in Vermont, you know, I'm looking at you, Sheridan, in the back, Margaret Holland Inn. If they're looking at that and you don't have hotel as your business, it might get overlooked. And then down here, I listed what I do /sell. So I'm a social media mentor for womenpreneurs. I'm very clear about who my target demographic is and who would be the ideal client, so I'm saving time. I added a little punny thing to it, professional Instagram addict, because that creates a personal, it lightens the mood a little bit, let's be honest. Where I reach, so Burlington, Vermont, and beyond. I prefer to work with Vermont womenpreneurs. However, I have clients in New Jersey. I have clients in California. I'm not just limited to Burlington, Vermont, but there's something very special about the culture in Vermont. So I made sure specifically to put it into my bio. And then finally, I have a definitive call to action with a value-added benefit. So get your 365 days of elevated content in all capital letters with a down arrow emoji that says, click this mega link right here. And as soon as they click that link, they have all my links to leave a Google review, to download the 365 days of elevated content, to download this, to schedule a consultation. All of those links are in a mega link that lead to all the resources, so they don't have to go find it on random areas of my website or all the other places that I have stuff on the internet. So yeah, that is how you create the maximized amount of, you use your prime real estate in your profile bio. Number 4, this might get me canceled, but assume people know nothing. You are an expert in what you do. Assume people know nothing. Assume they know nothing about you. Even people that know you don't truly know you. Doesn't mean you have to put everything out on the internet. However, when it comes to creating content, get really nitty gritty. Assuming they don't even know what, I tell people, I assume people don't even know what buttons are. Because half the time when I put something that I'm just like, oh, this might be helpful to somebody, there's always somebody that's like, wow, I didn't know that. You know what you're doing. Assume people do not. And share that with them. You know, teach them. Leaning onto the information that you worked really hard to achieve and not giving them everything, because free advice will not make you money. However, give them a little preview. Be like, you know, here's how to create an Instagram bio. But if you go home later and like, I don't know what I'm doing, that's going to make you more likely to call Brittany up and say, hey, can you help me with my profile bio? Let's do a follow-up. So when it comes to creating content, strategy number 4 is assume people know nothing. Number 5, be genuine in your captions. Speak just like how we're having a conversation now. I am from New Jersey. I'm very loud. As you can probably tell right now, I have a lot of high energy that I need to get out into the world. I write it in my Instagram captions. People love how bold and exciting my branding is, and if my captions were just monotone, it will not match my personality when they come to work with me in the customer experience. They like working with a bold, loud person because that's how you're going to get an aggressive personality will get aggressive results when it comes to social media. So when it comes to writing captions, if you are a flamboyant personality like I am, use emojis, because guess what? There's going to be a bunch of people who are like, wow, I really, like, that speaks to me. If you're a realtor, I always suggest using a template, a little storytelling to capture how beautiful this house is, and then writing specifically the location, the street, all the boring stuff that people ask, how many bedrooms and bathrooms, and then the call to action at the end. So, you know, being able to write captions how you would present it to people is so important, because you really want that to match the storytelling and your personality, because it leads people to you who can connect to your personality, because that's who they're really looking to work with, is you. There's 1,000 life coaches, there's 1,000 realtors, there's 1,000 other bank loan lenders out in the world, but if they see a video of Jay Cummings presenting a seminar series and could say like, hey, this guy presents this in a really like clear way, they're more likely to come. Which leads me to number 6. Always end your captions in a call to action. Assume people know nothing and they need to be guided. If they don't know where to find this resource that you're promoting, they're going to give up. Brain waves are very short. Attention spans are very short nowadays. That's why we just do bulleted lists. That's why TikTok is so big, because 15-second videos are all people have time for nowadays. People need to be guided. A call to action that will tell them exactly where to find the information in the least amount of clicking around as humanly possible, which will shorten their shopping buyer decision, but also shorten your marketing funnel. So it's actually less work on your end to not have to communicate if somebody DMs you, hey, where can I find this? Well, if it said, subscribe in my bio right off the bat, they would not have to contact you and you wouldn't have to waste your time also. Can anybody give just one example of a call to action? Come on, people, it's lunchtime.
We run an event company, and so that's basically like tickets, like a take to tickets or something like that.
Yeah, so ticket sales. Hey, purchase your ticket here. What were you going to say, Cora?
I was just gonna say, go to the link in my bio. That's a big one.
Exactly. Yep. Click the link in bio. Go to the link in bio. So when it comes to creating your posts, figure out what your goal is. Is your goal to get more followers? Is your goal to promote this product and you want them to buy it? Is your goal to have them click the link in your bio, which is the website? What is the goal that you want this specific post to do? Which leads to so many options as far as call to actions go. So some of the most popular ones: follow us on Instagram, click the link in bio, shop now, comment below. That's how you're going to get more engagement on your posts. Reserve your spot. That's creating the FOMO of like, oh no, there's only 5 seats left. I need to reserve my spot now or else I'm going to miss out. Call me, subscribe to my email list, visit us if you have a storefront. How can you direct them in a way that conveys your message? Again, it's about creating a very clear message, and that message may change from post to post. But there's so many options. Number 7, create a local list of hashtags in your phone's note app. I can't tell you how many clients say, hey, Brittany, what was that hashtag that you once used? I have a running list in my notes app that is like 30 hashtags, like a hashtag word bank with all of these Vermont specific weird ones that start popping up on my Instagram. I take note of it, and so that way, instead of having to go search it on Instagram every time I go make a post for a client, I could just copy and paste it from my notes app right into the caption or the first comment. It doesn't matter which. That's also a common question that I get. It does not matter if you put hashtags in the caption itself or the first comment. But anyway, creating a local list, and by this I mean geographically specific. So we're all Vermont-owned businesses, and Vermont has a very strong small business culture, as we know. So there are a bunch of hashtags that are very specific to Vermonters. And here are just some of them that I like to use most. So Vermont by Vermonters, how to showcase Vermont life. VT Womenpreneurs, if you're part of that group, you know why that hashtag is so popular among us. Vermont Small Business, Vermont Business, support Vermont business. Vermont Food, if you're in the food industry, there are so many people, restaurants, chefs, bars, breweries, that are going and hashtagging Vermont food. Hashtag Love Burlington, which is a company that promotes businesses on Church Street Marketplace downtown. There are so many tourists going to that hashtag to try to find things to do in Vermont. So if you are planning any events in Burlington, if you have a storefront in Burlington, you are going to miss out on opportunities for tourists. That tourist season is almost winding down before ski season. These leaf peep times, like that's where people are going to find information. They're looking for beautiful pictures online. They're going to find things to do in the hashtags, and they're going to poke around a little bit because that's how people are finding things to do nowadays from local Vermonters. So Vermont by Vermonters. Number 8, this one's controversial. Only follow business-to-business connections. I love my family, don't get me wrong. Too many people are having babies, too many people are having weddings, and I don't want to see that on my business news feed. That's why I have a personal account. I'm not in the business of following personal connections right now, unless it's a sole proprietor who uses it for both and I'm genuinely interested in a referral partnership. The reason why I say that is we are thinking of higher level strategy. You want people to do the marketing for you. So I'm going to bring it back to Sheridan, who owns Margaret Holland Inn, just because tourism is on my brain right now. So for Sheridan, who owns that beautiful inn, what I would suggest is following all the other small businesses, all the restaurants that are in your town that the bed and breakfast is in. Creating those types of connections, because if a tourist walks into the little cafe that's sitting right there and they're looking for a place to go or a room for the night, hey, I know somebody, Margaret Holland Inn. Let me call Sheridan. Let me DM Sheridan really quickly, see if there's a room available. You want to be able to create those referral partnerships even digitally. And not being afraid to create those partnerships online. Because guess what? Some of the most powerful connections might not even be in the state, but the way that you're going to find them is online. Which brings me to number 9. Flirt in the comments with your digital referral partners before sliding into their DMs. When it comes to people following me, if they are a business account or a prominent person in my community who starts following me, I always send them a message saying, thank you so much for the support. If it's me reaching out first, if let's say there's a small business that I feel I could make a difference in their lives and I want to work with them and grab them as a social media client, I will start following them on Instagram. I will start engaging with their posts. I'll look at like their most recent 10 posts, and if there's anything that says a call to action that says comment below, I'll go and I'll participate. That's flirting in the comments before you slide into DMs. Same thing on the opposite. If you find that people are commenting on your posts, always reply. I don't know if you've seen, but there's a lot of scammers on Instagram right now that are putting comments saying, promote this on Vermont FAMs. Isn't it annoying?
Yes.
Yes. However, it helps your engagement. Do not delete those. Don't engage with them either, except for leaving a very random emoji. But anyway, that helps the algorithm say, oh my gosh, this is getting comments. Like, let's push this out to more people. It starts that like bubbling up process of the algorithm, where if you are just relying on people to do the work for you, consider how busy your lives are. Their lives are just as busy. Unless they see that notification pop up, like how excited do we get for an Instagram notification? I don't know if it's just me, but like this video going viral, I had to shut my notifications off, but at first it was very gratifying. Now it's just annoying, but it started off as very gratifying. So taking that same psychology of that, the notification, the instant gratification, leaving comments, even if it is just like, yes, you look so good, or like a fire emoji, or something where it's just a smiley face, or liking their photo, but also a comment is a lot more powerful. Taking a 10-minute break to scroll through stories on Instagram and engaging. If people leave a poll or a question or one of those engaging stickers, reply to it. If they're a small business, chances are they're only getting like 2 or 3 responses. And if you are that second person responding to one of those stickers, that puts you that much closer into their faces. And then you can slide into their DMs. But that's how you be, I don't want to call it sales pitchy, but you're not even trying to pitch them anything yet. You are just making yourself known before then sliding into their direct messages saying, hey, I've been noticing the hard work you've been doing. I especially like to make it a little bit of a personal connection, which is why I recommend just scrolling on their thing really quickly. Like, the post you made about whatever spoke to me. Let's set up a chat to talk how we can help one another out in business. That could go such a long way, and you've already started to create that personal connection without even talking to them yet. So they are more likely to want to connect with you after flirting with them in the comments. Number 10, share more stories than grid posts, especially if you don't have time to make a lot of content. Stories on Instagram are in those little circles that you see up at the top. So they're what people see first and foremost when they log into Instagram. How tiring is this? I would rather click through all the stories that I see up top, and the grid posts, if there's a lot less pressure to put out an Instagram story than it is to have a grid post, because a grid post is there forever until you manually delete it, if you ever delete it. Stories are 24 hours. There's a lot less pressure. It's a way to ask people for feedback. There are so many stickers that you could ask people a question. Hey, what do you think about this before product even launches? Bring them into this experience that is not just, hey, we launched this product, shop now. If they are part of this experience of the design plan process that we call it, they are more likely to feel part of the community that you are creating, part of the culture that you are creating internally. And they are more likely to want to see the final product, and even in person, which creates a buying experience for them. So when it comes to stories, do not be afraid of being imperfect. Take 5 minutes to film a 30-second intro reel. I get a lot of hate for this. A lot of people do not like being on camera. I acknowledge that fully. However, if you are a sole proprietor, you need to get in front of your people. Next slide, we have a 2.5-minute demonstration where I will be teaching you how to do a 30-second intro reel. I expect everybody in this room to have one posted by tonight. I will like and engage with all of them. So here we go. Hi there, it's Brittany from the Winfield Creative, and today I'm going to show you how to shoot your very first intro video using Instagram Reels. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is hit that plus button and then reel, and you should have the camera flip towards you, if not flip it. And first thing you want to do is clean that lens. Then you're going to change the default time, should be already set to 30 seconds, but you can change it to 60 seconds or 15 seconds depending on how long you want the video to be. You can always add filters, but for now we're going to stick to the normal filter. Then in the left nav, very last icon, you can set your timer to 3 seconds. And what this does is once you hit record, it gives you a 3, 2, 1 second countdown, and then it starts recording. Then you can shoot your video. Make sure that your natural light, your windows are in front of your face, so that way you get as much natural light as possible. You could also use a ring light if you have one available, and make sure you are talking slowly at a normal conversational speed. Then you can hit preview and see what it looks like. Up top, you can hit music, and you can always add a backing track. If your account is set to commercial use and not personal use, you will be limited as to what music you can use for licensing, but still there are some good choices. You can always adjust the volume from there. You can always click filters up top and add a filter after the fact, but we're just gonna leave it alone for now. And then once you hit the next button, it'll load this caption screen where you can then write your caption for the reel. And you can always add hashtags or leave the hashtags for the first comment. You can click cover to change what the cover photo looks like. And you also have the option to add a cover photo through a design that you create outside of Instagram. You can always add like a photo to your grid that you graphically design. You can share that to your feed or choose not to. It would just go into the reel section if you chose not to. You can crop your profile image so you see exactly what it looks like. You can tag people if you needed to, and you can add your location. And that is the basics of how to shoot your very first 30-second intro video, and that is it. Enjoy. It's a very controversial thing because a lot of people do not like to be on camera. However, you are trying to create that bond and that digital networking even online. And if your first reel is an intro video, the algorithm is going to be like, oh my gosh, they just put out their first reel. Let me push it to as many people as possible. And that way, that is the first one that they are seeing from you. It does not have to be perfect. You get better over time. Trust me. Amanda and I know video takes time to learn that skill. However, it is very important to adapt to what the algorithm finds hot today. And that, my friends, is Reels. We talked about short attention spans. A 30-second video compared to trying to find a graphic post online is so much easier. I have had people find me through my Reels that I just put up, took not even 5 minutes. I think I was like lip syncing to a song and put captions on it, and now signed a client from San Jose because she found me on Instagram Reels. Like, you never know who's gonna find it. And especially if you are an e-commerce store that relies on website sales, or trying to funnel people to your website for virtual services, get yourself out there on Reels. It is so important nowadays. Number 12, follow Brittany on Instagram. I had to end with a call to action. We discussed this before. So last but not least, please, if you can, follow the Winfield Creative for all your tips and tricks on Instagram. I love what I do, and I just want to make impact on this world by sharing my passion for social media with you all. So, any questions?